Well, 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 top tier trading team. Now, come on, y'all. Hey, on, girl. Oh, come on down. Don't you be too late. We'll show you how to work that market gate. Got one strategy, sit you right down. Tune up your plan, turn your game around. Person on mentorship, talking real plain, so you can ride that chart like a fast freight train. Everybody with the top tier trading team. Do the trader. Come learn clean, come learn keen. Do the trader. We got your back when the bell go ring. Sign on up, let your profits sing. Everybody with the top tier trading team. Do the trader around. Every single week we got a study hall crew. Q&A, cooking, breaking patterns for you. Screens up big, we be sharing that view. Guiding through the trades till the move run through. Phones start buzzing when I set up call. Real-time alerts, we don't miss that ball. Everybody with the top tier trading team. Do the trader. Come learn clean, come learn keen. Do the trader. We got your back when the bell go ring. Sign on up, let your profits sing. Everybody with the top tier trading team. Do the trader. Got a private little room where the traders all chat. Talking through the winds, learn from the flat. You ain't trading all alone in the dark like that. You got a family of pros saying you can do that. Oh yeah. Oh, everybody with the top tier trading team. Do the trader. Come learn clean, come learn keen. Do the trader. We got your back when the bell go ring. Sign on up, let your profits sing. Everybody with the top tier trading team. Do the trader. 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 Well,
All right. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. Really great job taking the time to be here this weekend. I want to give you props and commend you for your commitment, really coming out and spending the time each weekend to really go to these study halls so that we can really review everything that we went over, trades that we went over the week prior, and really discuss, what we did right, what we did wrong, what we can do better, things we could look out for next time and so forth. So really, again, I appreciate you guys taking the time. It's a real testament to your commitment to becoming better traders and just ultimately your desire to be profitable. And that's great. So I appreciate that. And welcome each and every one of you to our study hall here today. And as you know, what we're going to do is we're going to cover some of the trades that we went over last weekend that we've kind of prepared us for this coming week that we went through, as well as the one we're going to be coming up to as well. So let's go ahead and start with AI here. Now, AI, whoops, I'm sorry, I got us on the SPY. That's the wrong one. There we go. All right, so AI was a great trade for us, as you can see. Just so you are aware, this is the 15-minute trading line, or the 15-minute chart. And each of these dark blue lines, as you can see here, is each week apart. All right, each of these faded lines are dailies in between, but these large ones are weekly. I want to just make sure you understand that because I want to give you a kind of a broader perspective of what's going on, at the same time giving you the microscopic look. So I want to be clear about that in case it's hard to see on your charts or on your screen there. So pardon me 1 second, guys. Apologize. I have to take a drink once in a while. I've been doing a lot of talking lately. All right, so AI has been really interesting for us. So as you can see, a couple weeks ago, we really eyed this down. We saw this double bottom occur right here. And once we saw this first one, we took advantage of that second bottom that we saw. And once we saw that this 1020 was going to hold support just like it did, we took a call there. And, you know, we love to buy at our stops, right? Once we get confirmation of either support or resistance at our stop, depending on whether or not we want to go long or short. In this case, we wanted to go long, so we wanted confirmation of support. We got that. We had a piercing, but we always say a piercing's just a test, right? And it recovered very quickly and very strong as well. You can see we had a very nice V-shaped recovery there. That gave us the confidence to enter this trade at our stop. Now, what that offers us is the ability to be able to take profit earlier than what was originally our profit target in the trade plan. You can see originally we were waiting to 11 to take our first profit, but having bought way down here at our stop, being patient and having done that, allowed us the opportunity to take profits earlier because of that. And that's one of the advantages of why we do like to buy at our stop and why we also buy in tiers, because here we are able to take profit off right here, which was originally still on our entry zone, the upper echelon of that entry zone. But instead we were taking profits instead of buying. And seeing that that was an appropriate entry for us, there was probably going to be a lot of other people that were going to buy as well. And certainly that was the case. As you can see, we just tailed that way up there to go to 12. And that was a beautiful move. Now, all we had to do was every single profit target, you know, the 11, we took profit, 11.50. And when we got all the way up there near 12, we took our last piece of profit. And then as you can see, we kind of moved back. And two things I want to go over real quick. We saw this pullback right here. All right, we got to our second profit target. Well, our first original, but became our second profit target. And we wanted that to hold for a continuation move. And remember we said if it does not hold that 11, we were going to get out. Well, it held to the T, as you can see. And beautifully, we moved right on up, taking profit again at 11.50, then of course 12. And we saw this action right here, and it was very clear we were going to pull back, and we did so heavily. And look at, now we're well under VWAP here with the trade line. And then we had made this our new stop, right, to clear out on our position, even though we only had, at this point, one tier in case we had a runner, in case we had to move up, we wanted to hold a runner. Well, thankfully, we saw that this was not going to hold, and as we got out of that position completely and perfectly, because you could see what happened afterwards. Came all the way back down to test that 1020. So awesome trade on that here, of course, but that was last week. So this week, we were looking for some type of a continuation with that to see if maybe, again, 1020 was going to hold, which you can see it did. 1 second, guys. Oh, I realized I had this up on the spot. Pardon me 1 second. All right. So what we were waiting for this week was just simply another confirmation of the support there. Now, we did get that. We got down to that 1020, bounced up here just real quickly to 11. So we had a nice little day trade scalp afforded to us here. But then you can see we came right back down. And look how nice that support level was holding. All right, so we're going to wait and see this coming week. I suspect we're going to channel the very beginning the first day or so, right in this area. But then we're going to get eventually the go ahead one way or another. But if we find once again that this 1020 holds support, all right, and I want to show this too. It's actually what I had up a second ago. I'll put it back up. This is the SPY, guys, okay? So this blue line right here is the SPY. And as you can see, they have a very similar relationship. Basically, when the SPY is going up, so is AI. And when SPY is kind of coming down, so is AI, with some slight variation. But overall, they have a fairly symbiotic relationship. That being the case, if the market is to continue upward, which it may do, I mean, the market ended the week pretty nicely after all the information it digested as far as inflation data and the tariffs and everything of that nature, then there's a chance that this very well does hold. Let me go ahead and take the SPY back off here. All right. There we go. Make it a little easier to see when that's not on there. So basically, we're just looking for the same kind of setup here. We're going to be very careful to watch this 1020 hold or stop. And it's the same trade plan, guys. Anywhere in this zone, so long as we see support at 1020, we're going to look for the long and then just take profits all along the way, just like we did. Now, I expect a muted response on the way up, guys. So I would not think, I would really be careful once we got up to this 1150. I think 1150 is going to be a heavy area of resistance where we might top out and then move on back. So I would not expect necessarily all the way up to 12 and 1250 up there. I'm not saying you can't get there, but we want to have, a muted expectation and reasonable expectations and just be careful. All right, so that's the plan with AI. 1020 holds. When we see support, we buy into strength up through 1050, and then we start taking profit at 11 and 1150. All right, that's what we're looking for AI moving forward this week. All right, let's look at Amazon next. All right, Amazon, this thing did a great job bouncing off of 196. You could see it had a little bit of a spat there where it went down there to that 196 zone. All right, and in doing so, you can see this very nice inverted head and shoulders pattern that we're forming. All right, that inverted head and shoulders pattern is a bullish reversal pattern. All right, now let's zoom out a little bit farther. I want to show you this. All right, so we have come down, like I said, we went all the way down to 196, and we were all the way up here at 250. All right, and that 250 was, let me see, February. I'm sorry, not February. I apologize. That was November. So since November, okay, we've come all the way down from 250 to 196. That's nothing to sneeze at, clearly. So that 25+%, there's nothing moves in straight lines forever, one way or another, right? And with that kind of a decline, I would not expect, I would not be surprised by a reversal and a bounce back attempt to try to regain some of these levels. So you can see we've got 220 here as a major level. And with this inverted head and shoulders that we have, okay, I believe that we are likely good for a long here up to that 220. All right, now that is provided, and I'm sorry, let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself and going for the week ahead. I haven't covered the week behind. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Okay, so last week we had this laid out. Obviously, we had 200 to 202 was the acceptable entry, clearly, as you can see. And once we dipped below that, we saw that double bottom. We're at about 196, right? Actually triple bottom, really. It's a triple bottom. And then we saw the trade line cross up above the VWAP here, then support. That was a great indication that we of strength. And then once we saw not only the bounce off of VWAP, which is up, bounce, support off VWAP, right into the top end of our support channel for the entry zone, and then a pullback and held the bottom end of our entry zone, which is basically VWAP. Okay, the volume weighted average price. That was the perfect signal to go long, and look what happened. Beautiful. And look at the volume, guys. We always talk about volume profile, right? When we make these moves up or down, if you look for shorts, you always want to break levels with high volume. And that's exactly what we got here. And look at that beautiful, beautiful move. Pardon me. From basically 200, all the way up to, we got basically 207 to here under 208. I mean, that was a real nice pop-up. And then look what happened. A very nice, slow, gradual move back. And check out the volume. A big volume on the move up. And then on the pullback, small, lighter volume. That's exactly what you want for continue, provided you get levels that hold that you're expecting. You want the volume profile to be like that. And that's perfect for potential continuation. And that's exactly what it did. We actually thought it was going to get a little lower. I thought it was going to get to the actual 202. Didn't quite even get there. I think it was basically 203 it got to, and then it bounced a good dollar more than I expected. That was this line here I had. So, but you could see it did exactly that. And then now on the retrace, it held very nicely right there at that 204, 203 and a half to 204. And then look, that's a beautiful right there, bull flag. Like a beautiful bull flag. Bull flag. And then you got the continuation move. Look at the stair step it's doing. I mean, this is just a strong pattern. Look, up, pull back, hold up, pull back, hold up. So now, this is the next level. It's got to hold, pull back. So now we could go into what we're looking for next move. So obviously we were expecting a pullback to test VWAP. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did get another test of this 207, 208. And so long as that 207, 208 holds, I think we're good. And the market overall is positive. And I think you're good to continue this uptrend. I mean, look at the VWAPs on a nice upward angle. You have a nice trade line VWAP cross, and again, this is a 15-minute time frame. So I think you're in good shape. Now, Friday, we got as high as 211 and some change. Basically 211 and a quarter. And look, we're right 212 is really the mark here. If we get through 212 with that gusto, with good, volume, that's where we're going to just, I think, fly up to this 220 like it's nothing. I don't see anything really in the way of resistance that would stop a move, an 8-point move up from that. So there's there's a general trade here. There's a day trade, day scalp, short swing, if you like, however you want to say it, from this 207, 208 up to 212. Okay. But then above that, we get through this 212, and then we, with good volume, and then we pull back on light volume and hold this 212, and we've confirmed that this 212 gets support. Well, guys, we can easily get a continuation move here, and again, jump up to 220. All right, so this is what we're looking at for Amazon for next week. Now, it may not happen, and maybe, we talk about getting contracts weeks, if not months out in terms of expiration dates, because we want to give ourselves the time for trades to play out. Yeah, sometimes they happen quickly. Sometimes we plan for a trade that, we get weeks or months out at an expiration, and it might be that day. You never know. But it might be a week. It might be 3 days. It might be 3 weeks. You want to give it time to happen. And so we always stress risk management. Part of that risk management is giving yourself extra expiration date every time. Whatever time you think that a trade will take to play itself out, no less than double your expiration. That's just my personal rule of thumb. And don't be afraid to triple it. If you think it will take you a month, get 2 months or 3 months out in terms of expirations, and watch how much easier it is to manage downside risk and all these other things. So just something we discuss, obviously in private chats as well as just in general, but that's why we do that here. Just to be safe, always. Sorry, guys, a big old truck just kind of went by my window really long. All right, so that's Amazon. So we're looking for a pullback next week on Amazon. We got a real nice move off of here so far, and guys, this move is nothing to sneeze at either. From 197, 196 to 211. It's a 15-point move. It's got to have a pullback. Nothing moves in straight lines. We're going to likely come back to test this 206, 207, basically. But let's see what happens there, and then we could likely take that move up to 212. Expect resistance there at that 212. Okay. If we do get through it and we get in the scenario like we talked about, then we'll talk about the long live, obviously, and taking that up to 220. But for next week, let's keep our expectations muted. Let's plan. We're going to plan for 206, 207 to hold, and then we'll take that as a long up to go to 212. Okay. So that is Amazon. And in fact, I apologize, guys. I really should have had this changed color-wise so that this made more sense for next week. I had it still on last week's setup, but I'm going to change that right now live so you guys have a good understanding, and I'll change it for you. There we go. All right, so this is the new. All right. That is our new entry for the long. And then let's go ahead and put our stop in. Stop should be. Let's go right there. That'll be our stop. I'm just going to label it so we can all see it. Whoop. Stop for our long. It'll be 203.50. Whoop. That is not correct. I apologize, guys. This was supposed to be our stop. Eesh. Okay, there we go. 10 seconds, we're good. Okay. We'll just call it new stop. How's that? Nice and easy peasy, right? Okay, there we go. So this is our new stop. We're looking for a pullback. All right. Let me. Oh, last thing I'm going to mark as. All right. My apologies. I should have had that done ahead of time. But there you go. You got to see a little live trade setup section real quick. So again, basically what we're looking for here on Amazon is a pullback to test this 208 to 207 area. Now our stop is around here at 204.65. We expect our entry to go anywhere between, again, that 208 and let's say 206. All right, sure. Okay. All right, guys, last one. Last edit. All right. 206 to 208 is our entry zone. We want to pull back no more than this 205, 204.65, but basically right here, you see where our stop is. And that's it. That's it, guys. You take this kind of out of the equation, and this out of the equation. And so that's what we're looking for. All right. We want to see a pullback, 206 to hold, no less than 205, 204, 204 and a half. So long as that holds and we see buying pressure, we could take that and we look for profits all along the way there. I mean, and if you happen to catch it to 204 at the stop, we love buying at our stops, right? But if we do, and then, you can take profits even as close as this 208. And then, of course, then 209, and then 212. All right, so that's what we're looking for Amazon. So, all right, guys, I'll try to speed it up. I know we're going a little slow here, so I'll get us going a little bit quicker here. All right, Ford. Let's come back to Ford. Ford is a unique one, and now I'm going to go over that a little more. So we'll come back to that. Netflix, super easy here, guys. All right, so what we had is, of course, this is this week right here, and you can see this was last week where we've been eyeing Netflix, for a little bit here. Well, last week is really where we got what we wanted. We were eyeing the short right here, and we got a little bump, as you can see. Well, not so little bump, all the way up to this area that we were not anticipating right off the bat. But we got there, and anyways, when we got up there, we were considering the short, and before we got into the short, it already started to move down. So once this happened, we didn't chase it. We couldn't, we had no idea if it was going to continue, if it was going to hold here, so we didn't chase it. And then we retraced back to our original short. All right, so we went from this original short plan to this short plan, which we missed. We just, you can't see everything all the time. We were on other trades, whatever. It happened. So anyway, when we got back down to this area, what we saw this week, we saw this exact area hold as support at first, but it was the low end. I mean, it clearly got below it, but it wasn't holding as support. It got below. So that was, to me, a sign that it was kind of weak. So we were able to grab the short here, and then you can see how perfect that was. All right. And that was the original plan fortunately, we were able to execute on that 80. And look how far low this got. We were only planning originally, I think, to get to 78 from that. And unfortunately, we got all the way down to 75. And then you can see since then, it's just been bouncing. 75's been really holding as that support. All right, so that was a great trade right there. And that was, again, the week prior. And then, so once we were seeing the support and this retracing, okay, we saw the support, really a triple bottom. Kind of call that a bottom. It's pretty cool. But certainly a double bottom and a bullish reversal pattern. Well, once we started climbing up here this way, like we are, we're looking for the same setup, guys. Moving forward for next week here on Netflix, very, very simple. We're looking for a move up into this $80 zone. Okay, I anticipate that it will continue to be resistance as it was right here, as we were anticipating it to be at this point. Now, again, depending on the market, the market is kind of turned around after the inflation data, like we discussed. So I think that's enough to take it up into this area, but I'm not so sure it's going to take it really up above it and give it enough strength to get above that area. Okay, so we're going to look for that $80 area on Netflix next week, and we'll see if that again gives us the opportunity to take another short. And of course, looking to take out profits at 78, and then down here at 75, hopefully to get that far. So, but be careful, because we are. Let me move this out a little bit. We are setting higher lows. So we are slowly but gradually getting up there. We just want to make sure if we are taking this, that we see signs of weakness as we are entering this zone. If we are seeing signs of strength, we're not going to get in it, right? We're going to wait and then see if we get up into this other area where we came down from 83.50, $83 around there. If that area is reached, then that's another potential shorting zone. So we kind of have two areas here that we can kind of eye down for shorts, but we'll see how that goes next week, and that's for Netflix. All right, great job being patient on that, guys. Sometimes we go a couple days or a week before we get into a trade. We just got to wait for the setup. But it's always worth it to be patient. Well, I shouldn't say always. Usually it's worth it to be patient to get the right price, the right entry, and the right profit margin. All right, next thing. Give me 1 second. All right, next is Pfizer. So Pfizer was a nice one for us. We took this long. Back this up. Sorry about that. Yeah. All right. Well, originally, we just took a nice little move off of 27 up to the 27.90. And then we were fortunate to be able to just take profit all along the way there the week prior. Now, this last week, we were looking to see if we could get a pullback right into that 27. And really, what would have been really a strong kind of look for a bullish continuation was for this 27.50 to hold. Or 27.30, I apologize. As you can see, it did not. All right, so when we were up here and we had seen this double top, we took our last bit of profit right here. Okay. And then when we pulled back, we were waiting to see, does this hold? If this 27.30 were to have held and we were to actually move up, which is what we discussed in last week's study. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, I just moved that. I thought that was locked in. Let's go ahead and lock that in now. There we go. All right. Because we did hold it, We had a test here and a test here. But you see, we never got up above that 27.45. And that is the channel. That's what we needed for a bullish continuation. We clearly did get that. And on top of that, look at that volume. As soon as we saw that volume, on the end of the day, what was that, Wednesday, that was our sign and we got it out, because that volume candle really meant that this level was going to, possibly, and probably, again, nothing's definite, right? But probabilities that there was going to be a meltdown. And that's exactly what happened. And look at that volume. It wasn't just that it came down and, we lost. This wasn't a piercing. This was a test and a fail of the whole of this level. And then you can see what happened from there. We tried to find a little bit of support just under 27, but it's just capitulated all the way down to basically 26.40. Okay. In which case, obviously, our long we got out of completely. And now we're just looking for next week to see the opposite. And it's really going to be dependent on largely the market coupled with the price action. Okay. If Pfizer can regain 27, okay, and then of course regain this level, well, then we can actually see that this would be an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which would be a bullish reversal pattern. Okay. In which case, then that would be potentially a time that we could re-enter this trade, and then of course go up from 28 and on its way from there. All right, so that was Pfizer this week. But guys, this is exactly why we are very careful. Like when we take profit and we take a trade, we don't stick around. We don't ask ourselves how much can we make, because it's easy to think, oh, this is making a nice move up. Why don't we just keep it and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's why. Right there is exactly the reason why. Because imagine you didn't take profit there, and now you're sitting down here. All right. So we're going to see next week. Does this 27 to 27.30 get regained? If so, then we could look for a potential upside. Otherwise, we could go the opposite. There's 2 trades here. If this doesn't hold in this 27 to 27.30 rejects, then we could look for another short and just ride that right back down to 26.40. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at for Pfizer. We're just going to see if we reach this area with weakness, in which case we could ride it back down, or do we reach it and hold it with strength, in which case we could take it up to retest last week's highs. Okay, so that's Pfizer. All right. Palantir. All right. All right, guys. So Palantir gave us a very interesting trade this week. Let me just zoom out a little bit. This should be a little bit different. Okay. All right, Palantir. So you can see very clearly what we were waiting for was this 140 to be reached. Okay. And then we were looking to short. Very simple. I mean, you can see we had our stop set up here at 142. We're looking at 140 to 140 for our short entry. And look, you guys, look what we got. I mean, you can almost not draw that up to a T better, right? And this is, again, stuff we went over. You could go over our last week's study hall. This is all stuff that we were setting up for last week. So if you had this on your charts, if you had your levels set, you got exactly what you wanted. So anyway, we got that 140, 141 test of our entry. Never quite got to our stop, but that's perfectly fine. And then look, as soon as we got this rejection, you see the view out act as resistance for the trade line. And look at that move down. It just went wrong, exactly the way we want it to go. Next thing you know, we're down at 132. All right, all the way from 141, a 10-point drop. And then, of course, you see we're finding support at that level. We had a little bit piercing down there. We could technically get down to 131, which is really impressive, guys. So, congratulations. If you took this trade from last week's study hall and setup, you did a great job. This is perfect. You almost can't draw it up. This is an A+ setup, and I hope you took advantage, and congratulations to you guys who did. So now basically what we're looking for is just somewhat of a retest of some of these levels, okay? Now, I would say that technically you could consider as early as 137.75 to start considering a nibble. Like if you wanted to kind of move your entry back down, I would say that's okay. But honestly, I'm not going to personally do that. I like to be patient. I like to watch levels be tested. I like confirmation of levels, whether that's for support or resistance. And again, this is what I'm seeing, what I do. I'm never giving financial advice. This is strictly what I'm looking at. Here, if we break this, basically 136, if we break this 136, we could hop very much up to that 137.75. And then, of course, retest this 140. But I wouldn't be surprised you start seeing weakness even a little bit before that, in which case we're going to do the same thing. When we reach in that entry zone, you guys, whether it's the trend, whether it's a channel, it's your friend, the channel or the trend or your friend, until they're not. Until they are proven to break for whatever fundamental or technical catalyst there may be, there's nothing wrong with just riding the same wave over and over. All right. And that's what we're going to do here until it shows us we cannot. So Palantir heads up to 140. We're going to take a short, provided we have the appropriate volume profile. We're seeing weakness into that 140, 141 zone. And then we'll short it right back down here to 135 and then 130. Get there. All right. So that is Palantir, guys. All right, TLT. All right, this is a great little trade for us. Still kind of working this one out. Now, guys, this is a long swing trade. TLT doesn't move extremely fast. This is a slow mover, low volatility. I know some of you guys don't like the super fast ones. Some of you guys don't like the super slow ones. This is one of those slower ones, okay? But that's fine. We've got a couple months on this expiration. We're going to manage this position no matter what. We got a call here, and we're doing really nicely. You see we bounced off this 88.50 right here. And what happened was we got a real nice bounce that took us all the way up to almost 90, 90 and a quarter, basically. Correct? Let me make sure. Yeah, basically 90 and a quarter, not quite there. So that was a nice move there on TLT. And then we're looking for, obviously, the pullback that we had gotten and hold exactly where we did here at basically 89. Now, so long as 89 continues to hold and we make higher highs and higher lows, and you can see we got a little pierce of VWAP, but it was a test. It's regained it. So there's very much the likelihood, potential, possibility that we're going to regain up in this level, guys. And so long as we regain this 89.40 to 89.50 level, then we can look for the continuation move here on TLT. And we can see ourselves back up at our final profit target that we're looking at up above 90 and a quarter. But we again bought ourselves some time on this. We're going to see this is a very nice move of it. Gotta pull back a little bit and kind of take a breather, right? So that's exactly what it did. And then it very nicely held this level. Okay, higher highs, higher lows. And so we have a very nice setup for a potential continuation. Did not like and do not like this volume candle, to be honest. Um, but once in a while you get that. We're going to be very careful. Now, if we do not get over this 95, I'm sorry, 89.50 and or 89.40 to 89.50, we do not get over it or hold it, we're exiting the position, guys. The rest of our call is gone. We're going to be happy with the move it made, with the profit we've already taken, and we're going to get out at that point. We're not going to hold it if we find another rejection here, because then we're just going to be moving back down, I believe, at that point, and then we're going to go right back down to this 88.50, so on and so forth. And we're not trying to give up what we make, right? This is a gambling. We're here to make money and keep it. So that's the plan here with TLT moving forward next week, guys. All right, Tesla. Tesla has been a beast too. Especially ever since that bounce off of 387, as you can see a while ago here. Let me move it out so we can see a little nicer. That was yeah, February 5th. We were all the way down here at 387. We double bottom. It's just been a nice little kind of flag move up here since. And look at that recovery that we. I mean, from 387 to 435, that was a 50-point move. It's a very, very strong sign overall. So the fact that it's right here in the middle of that zone now, it is very cautious inducing, in my opinion, because there's too much room to both sides. Excuse me. Hiccups now. There's too much room to both sides for you to feel confident yet in deciding which way to go. Now, you can see we are ever so slightly making higher highs, holding support levels, but we are also doing it on the opposite direction. We are really just consolidating at this point. I think we're just in a accumulation phase right now. And right now, it's just going to take some time, kind of figure out what it wants to do. Now, in that interim, you do have a small little area that we can look at as far as the channel trade. I know some of you guys do love channel trading, especially with Tesla and so forth. And you can see the significance of this channel right here. Look at that. Basically, it's the 17th. But you can just see it, the channeling within this range here. That channel is getting tighter and tighter, right? So that means it's going to make a decision soon. And I think we're going to get that this week. It's going to be very dependent on the overall market. I don't think, we had this trade deal or the trade Supreme Court ruling or whatever on the trades and the tariffs. And a lot of people are like freaking out about this, that, and the other. What does it mean? Is the market still good if the tariffs are off or vice versa? Well, the fact of the matter is nothing really much changed, even though the tariffs were taken off in terms of the IEPA being used for its execution. The president has more than one tarot card in his back pocket. There are plenty of congressional acts and policies that were enacted long before. I mean, have nothing to do with current politics or politicians that were there, generations prior to now, that are invocable by the president to include tariffs. That being said, when we had those tariff fears that morning about the Supreme Court ruling, we woke up with tariffs on. And the fact of the matter is when we went to bed that night, and right now, we still have tariffs on. So nothing's changed. And the market, I think, got exactly what it expected. Because it got exactly what it expected, it got a positive response. The one thing the market hates is uncertainty. When it is expecting something, which is exactly what it got, well, now it's just positive news. Even if the news is bad, if it's already expected by the market, it's generally taking time to price it in already, even before the event. Say, for hypothetically, we knew this announcement was going to come out weeks ago. Well, weeks ago, the market started to price in the possibility that the tariffs might be taken off and that they would have to invoke another thing. Well, so it already made the correction. So when it got that news this week, it said, okay, we expected that. Let's move on. Simple as that. And so if we get that continued response, well, that would drive this, things like Meta, Apple, some of the Mag 7s, things that were already doing all right, but not all right, because some of them were pulling back, obviously, but like that we're recovering, some more recoverability. And I think we have that potential here with Tesla. I think Tesla, if we get that continued good news, we could start looking for this 514 to 511 area to start being the low end of the channel, and that we could start trading in that ranges from 450 to 415. And once that happens, once we get confirmation of a break into this level, into this bigger channel up here, that's where we're going to go long. All right. So basically what we're looking for is 415 for next week. We want 415 to break and hold on Tesla. 415 breaks and holds on good, solid volume. Like, we want to break up into that area on high volume, a pullback into low volume of that 414, 415. But then we see a move up on a high volume, increasing buy pressure. We see that strength. Well, then you're likely good to start hitting up these levels. You start seeing a little resistance at 420, 424, 430. But after that, then 440, I should put that on too. 440 is definitely a level of resistance. Oh, you know what? This is 440. I don't know why. This is 430, guys. My apologies. There we go. Oh, I'm wrong. It's 430. Hey. Oh, there you go, but I'll just throw. All right, so that's basically what we're looking at next week, guys. Sorry about the pause there. So next week for Amazon, again, we want to pop up into this 414 to 415 range, pull back, and a hold of that 414 to 415, and then we could go long and take profits at 420, 430, 440. All right, so that's what we're looking at for Amazon for next week. Okay, I don't know why that is like that. All right, that's the SPY. This, I think, should have been Walmart. 1 second, folks. There it is. There it is. We're good. Okay. Walmart. So last week we were looking to go long on Walmart. And boy, were we wrong. All right. So, they can't all be winners, guys, right? So this is the non-winner of the week. So we, as you can see, we had a very simple setup here that we were looking at. Let me zoom. All right. So we had a stop at 130. We're looking at 131.75 to 132.75 to be our entry. And just basically the same thing. Once we were to get confirmation, had we gotten confirmation at 131 of support, we would have bought into strength into our buy entry, and we would have looked for profits here at 134.5, just ahead of 135, and then 136.5 to 137, and then of course, if we got high enough, of course, up to 140. And that's what we were looking at for Walmart as of last week. In our study hall, we had this set up, right, for our one of the things we were looking at. Clearly, we did not get that. You see right away, first thing off the bat, we got to move up to start the week, but look, right into our first profit target. And we were expecting a pullback, but we wanted to hold. As soon as we saw that didn't hold, we saw the volume, which was coming back. We were very careful to not just jump in. We always love to test our stops before we get in. But very well could have been like, you could have said, oh, well, we're in our buy zone, right? We should just buy. Well, with that strength of the move down, you don't want to just buy when it's a falling knife. You want to wait and see what happens. Be patient, wait for levels to be tested and confirmed. And look, we never got, once we had the trade line VWAP cross, look at the separation we got, which are all signs, and then of course the price action with the line, all signs of bearish. And so we never got in. We just avoided the trade altogether, and thankfully so, because you could see what happened ever since. You see? So guys, again, it's not just that we enter a level and we just buy, right? We don't just, we want confirmation. Now you can, if you're, not that you can't anything. I'm not here to tell you to do or not do anything. If you're an aggressive trader, you might want to take that risk. Personally, I like to test levels. I want to know that I have support. I want to know that I have resistance, whatever the case may be. Here, we saw very clearly we did not have the support. Trade breakdown, trade was no longer valid. We never got in, and that's okay, guys. There were plenty of other trades, as we just saw, that we went through that were winners, that we didn't, you're not going to catch every single one. And guys, you can make your day in one trade. You can make your week, and you can make your month with one good trade. You play one good trade right, you can make your week, day, month, whatever. Okay, just do it right. And all I would stress is to do it the right way. Be patient. You make your money in your entry. You want to be very selective. So great job avoiding that Walmart. If you guys, did get in it in that zone, I pray that you held tight to your stop. And we talk about, obviously, right, when we got our one-on-ones and talk together, we talk about the importance of keeping our stops, because we do not want to risk our, hard-earned money. And this is exactly why. Prime example as to why we do that. And so that is Walmart, and that's what we're looking at here for that. So next week, we're not even going to look at Walmart for next week. This is completely a dead trade. We don't have a setup that we're really looking at here. At best, at most, we might see a continuation short if we get into this range and we start seeing some resistance. But for now, we're just not even doing it. I just wanted to go over to show you, again, we are selective with our trades, our setups. We let the price action come to us and then tell us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, so on and so forth. All right, so great job of putting that Walmart trade this week. And guys, that is pretty much it here. As far as the weekend review and what we're looking for in terms of next week here. So I hope that this all made sense. It was clear, and you guys are prepared for next week. Very important again that we do this regularly. We want to go over all these things so we can learn each week. The market's always changing. If we're not growing and changing with it, we're going to get behind. So we want to stick to this. But other than that, guys, we are set here. So I want to open up the question and answer session to us. So any questions that you have about any of the information we've gone over here, guys, please leave that in the chat. If you have any questions about trades that you're looking into that we haven't gone over here, that you're into independently, leave that in the chat. Any tickers, whatever questions you've got, guys, go ahead and leave those in the chat now, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. All right.
Top tier. Y'all know what it is.
Top tier. Top tier. Trading team. Coffee on the desk, screen glow on my face. Pre-market plans got the levels in place. Risk real small, but the upside crazy. We don't chase candles, we let them chase me. Charts like a map, see the traps where they hide. Patience in the pocket, let the rookies collide. You hear bye, bye, bye. We hear wait, then strike. We teach you how to last through the long, hard night. Top tier trading team, yeah, we planning it. Turn fear into focus, losses into receipts. You want game? Pull up, take a seat, learn the scheme. We don't guess, we don't dream, we just work the routine. Top tier trading team, help you lock that green. From the open to the close, keep it sharp, keep it clean. You want wealth, not a wish, then you rock with the team. Top tier, that's a profitable thing. Hey. Options on deck, we define that risk. Spread so tight, every play got a twist. Data ticks slow while we stack that size. We teach why small loss better than pride. Break down the chart, every zone, every gap. Write down the rules, then we follow the map. Discipline the driver, greed in the back seat. We show you how to live through a bad beat. Top tier trading team, yeah, we plan the need. Turn fear into focus, losses into receipts. You want game? Pull up, take a seat, learn the scheme. We don't guess, we don't dream, we just work the routine. Top tier trading team, help you lock that green. From the open to the close, keep it sharp, keep it clean. You want wealth, not a wish, then you rock with the team. Top tier, that's a profitable theme. Who you call when the chart look wild? Who you trust with the long-term file? Who you want when it's drawdown time? We refine, redefine, then we climb. Seen folk blow accounts, try and double in a day. We slow them right down, show a smarter way. Journal every trade, every thought, every flaw. Turn pain into proof, make respect for the law. Law of risk, law of patience, law of trend. You learn that, you don't beg, you just bend. From the first small win to the big time dream. You ain't alone, you align with the team. Top tier trading team, yeah, we plan the need. Turn fear into focus, losses into receipts. You want game, pull up, take a seat, learn the scheme. We don't guess, we don't dream, we just work the routine. Top tier trading team, help you lock that green. From the open to the close, keep it sharp, keep it clean. You want wealth, not a wish, then you rock with the team. Top tier, that's a profitable thing. Top tier. Top tier. Top tier.